and show you an example. So I'm not going to go to the XML part this week. I will do this part later, okay? I would like you to this week to focus on your assignment. And next week, I'm going to do the XML. So just to show you how this is going to work in an application environment, I have written a simple file format. An interesting way to check the file name is to put the, first of all, a visual tools to make sure that the components are there. So what I did in this specific one, I'm just going to run it to show you. Then I put a file name here and the file content, and when the user entered these properly, create the file content button is pressed. A text file with the given name and content will be created under C drive. So whenever I press on this, I will have to do a validation. So let's go and check the folder first. So there is a folder there already. I'm going to get rid of this because I created that previously. So to run the application, we must make sure first the file name, this one, is actually tested. So we go on to the design. Let me just expand this. We go on to the design and make sure that the form is clearly written down. So here you can see the form components. I'm just going to go to the properties section. The name is text file name. We go into there again, once again. And the file content is going down, text file content. So what we do here, create the file with content. I'm going to put this in there. I double click on it. Make sure to select the length. If the file content is already greater than 1, which means that there is some component there, we can actually show something. We can do the operation. Else, we need to validate the file. So going here, I'm going to put an else statement. Now to change this, I'm going to drag and drop an error provider. You can find the error provider on your tools menu. Drag and drop it. And under the error provider section, you can name it. Just put it error provider because we won't have more than one. Should you want to, you can change the icon, you can change the blink rate, whatsoever. So I'm going to come down here, and then if the statement is else, which means the text length is not greater than 1, then it means the user left this empty. So I'm going to basically change, show an error message, tell the user to enter some data. So I'm going to come in here, error provider, set error. The ones that I'm going to put is the text file name here, text file name, and I'm going to put the error itself. Please fill the file name. Now let's see how this is going to work, building the application and starting it. Maybe I should also maximize this a bit because it's cutting the edge. Now when I press on it, you can see that the error provider is triggered, and if you go there, it will say please fill the file name. We can do the same thing for the file content. To do that, make sure to fill the file content, this one. So if the length is already there, but the file content is not, then we need to check that up here as well. So we're gonna do something like if the file content, text file content dot text dot length is, let's do the opposite, greater than 1, you can do all of this stuff down there, all of it. Else you can put the same error provider that you did before, only this time you put it inside the text file content. Please fill the file content. And each time these are edited, you can actually clear the error. So when you go down there, you can say that error provider dot clear. So running the application now, I pressed on the create file with content. It needs a name. I gave it my name and press on this as well, and you can see that it says the please fill the file content. Now this is my C drive. On my computer you can see it is the C drive. And what's going to happen in here is that as soon as I fill the content of the file, this will be removed. As you can see, the error is gone immediately. And I'm going to say, this is my file. Create the file content. Now I'm going to press on the button. Look at here. There's nothing there. Create the file content. And just maximize this. Oops, I could not find a part of the, sorry, it's just that the file content is not written down, so we need to fix that. Could not find a part of the path. We had made the mistake of putting an extra thing there, so let's just fix that. So we have the text file, and then the text itself, ext at the end, and then the file content is created. So let me just check. The file content is then converted into text, and then we write it. We don't have the directory here, so it assumes that this directory is there, I think. So this is where it gives the error. So text, see, they could not find a part of the path. So this directory is missing. So that is why it's not created, because we did not check the directory. So one way to fix this error is to make sure that this directory exists, hopefully, or you create the directory itself as well. So it's up to you. You can go there and create the directory manually, I think, or you can simply use the directory commands. Yes, as you can see, this time it worked because the directory wasn't created there. Make sure that the directory is there. I thought that it will actually create the directory by itself, so I'm also learning stuff. I think it was in Java, not in C Sharp. So if you actually forget the directory, it will create it for you. But in C Sharp, obviously it doesn't. So you must make sure that directory exists. And as you can see, data is written. So we can go now and check it. You will see the directory there, which is my name. And I will go inside. There's a test. And if I open it, it will say test as well. Okay. So that's how I created. It's nice that I'm also, it's all coming back to me. I thought that it will actually create the directory itself, but it didn't. So this means that you have to create your own directory if it doesn't exist. So when you create the link, make sure to check this directory if it's there or not. You can do so by looking at the directory check statement that I shared with you in Moodle slides. So if you actually go up, there is a directory share, create folder example, to make sure that this directory is already there. Now I am under 5 minutes. This is the whole thing that I'm going to cover today. I'm not going to do any more stuff than this because you are already busy with your project. Now, if you have any questions, I will accept it. Yes, someone asked a question. Kongon, you want to talk? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, talk.
So I created a program last night for the files. I had a place for where the user inputs the name of the folder, inputs the name of the file. So when the user inputs the name of the folder, it creates the folder and the file. It also creates. When I get to the part where the user has to input the text to be stored in the file, it tells me the file is in use and the program crashes.
Make sure that the file is closed when you do this, okay? So you might have left the file open. So like this, like you left this open and you try to write it. I told you that there are two types of writes that you can have on a file. One is read. So when you read a file, even if it is open, it doesn't matter, okay? You can still read it because there would be no change on the file. However, when you write a file, it must be closed. If you actually did not close the file and you kept this open like this, then it cannot write it, okay? Because you are working on the file, so it is open. So make sure that the file is closed before you do any changes permanently on the file. This is not only for text files, every single file is like this. Go to Word, for example, and try to do something on it while it is open. It will give you the same kind of error because if the file is already open, you cannot do any permanent changes. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. But the problem is, it's just a newly created file and folder. I haven't opened it. Just like I type the name, I press create, and then I go now to the part where I have to input the information. When I take write, it doesn't. It just tells me file is in use. So I thought maybe if previous create is still using the file.
Uh, are you sure that you didn't leave the file open? Like if you are getting that error, if the file is in use error, this means that the file is open, gentlemen. There is no other alternative. Like that is the reason why you get that error. But I don't know what you have seen. Maybe you want to send a screenshot to me and your code and I can look at it later. But if you are getting the error of this file is in use, this means that you left it open. I am absolutely sure. Okay. So I will encourage you to double check whether the file you left the file is open or not. Or you can also see this session in here that how I created my file. Look, I am defining a folder, combining it first, then writing into that specific file name. So if you use this code to write your file, it should absolutely work. I did it in front of you, right?
sir.
So you can see it. I think you accidentally left the file open and you just maybe didn't realize. All right, just try it again. It should work. Also, I'm recording the session, so you can also access it later. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Now I am under 2 minutes. As I told you several times before, the free version of Zoom does not allow us to do more than 40 minutes. So if you have any questions now, I'm going to accept it and recreate an invitation for you to come. If not, I will just end up the session. Do you have any questions? You have more questions? Hello? Okay, I'm gonna recreate basically an invitation for you then. Please go to a Moodle. I'm gonna end up this session and re-invite you, all right? Make sure that you are on Moodle. Go to BB and I'll invite you again. See you in a while.